horseshoes.
Inspired by the story of William Grover Williams, a former Grand Prix racer who would become a key figure in the organizing of the French resistance in World War II, and leader of many sabotage missions before his capture in 1943, the Saboteur is the final game released by Pandemic Studios before they closed their doors. Hey there everyone, this is Ray Carcillo for Classic Game Room, and when you play a game like the Saboteur, you can't help but wonder what made Pandemic close down, as this was another in the long line of superb games made by them. You play as Grand Prix racer and hard-drinking Irishman Sean Devlin. After being cheated out of a race by a Nazi colonel in late 1940 in Germany, you and your best friend Jules look to exact a little revenge by trashing the colonel's prized race car. You end up being captured though, and Jules is executed after you were accused of being British spies. Before your turn to die comes though, you escape, and spend the remainder of the war, and the game, looking for revenge on the man who killed your best friend, and in the process, help give birth to the French resistance. The Saboteur is a beautifully designed third-person shooter that mixes in elements of Grand Theft Auto, Prince of Persia, and Assassin's Creed with the pure joy of blowing a lot of things up. The graphics for the game are interesting because they're constantly changing. Starting off in black and white, as France is in the oppressive grip of the Nazis, as you destroy Nazi installations across France, and even just over the German border, you can bring glorious color back to the countryside, while also stoking the flames of revolution. From the layout and building design to the NPC models, the game is simply great graphically. And the audio actually isn't that bad either. From tremendous voice acting from every snooty Frenchman to Sean's thick Irish brogue, you actually start to believe you're overseas fighting for the resistance.
Better keep in line. These lads are on the watch.
Includes some great mood-setting music that gets your heart racing as the Germans are giving chase and right on your heels, to some softer jazz when things calm down and you're just driving through the back roads of the country in your car, the Aurora. The best part of this game, though, is the action. With literally several hundred German installations to blow up in the open sandbox that the Saboteur takes place in, not to mention the extra 50 or so mission-based objectives, and you'll be crawling all over France, planting your homemade explosives for hours on end if you wish to. Like in Assassin's Creed or Prince of Persia, Sean can climb effortlessly and without hesitation or glitches on every ledge, windowsill, and hanging wire that France has to offer, and he'll need to if he's going to reach all the Nazi sniper towers and propaganda speakers. On top of this, there are dozens of weapons, both French and German, that Sean can get his hands on to help fend off the Nazis when he's not quite as covert as he should be on some of these bombing runs. German pistols, French machine guns, and even flamethrowers are all part of Sean's arsenal, and he can carry 2 guns at a time along with over 40 explosives if you count grenades along with his patented sabotaging tools of the trade. Even if the gunfights play out like a typical third-person shooter, how you get into and out of each situation makes it feel original enough to not worry about it. And we can't forget to mention the sweet ride Sean can hijack if the Nazi forces become too much, and Sean needs to make a hasty retreat. From his Grand Prix racer to a variety of German army vehicles and French cars that he can just borrow, the driving for the game is not just a great way to get from point A to point B, it's downright fun and reminiscent of GTA. The only point some people might complain about is that the game lacks a multiplayer, but for once, I actually don't mind it. Aside from not being able to see how they could fit one in, with literally hundreds of targets for Sean to destroy after beating the story's main missions, you could be driving and climbing around France, blowing things up for close to 60 hours. How's that for liberating? In the end, the Saboteur is a tremendous experience taking elements from some of gaming's most popular franchises and making them its own. If you love blowing things up as much as I do, all the while trying to find new and obscure paths to climb up various buildings and monuments, the Saboteur is a must-play and a highly recommended purchase if you can find it.
Sorry, Jules.